Paul, as we found out on Tuesday night, Ben missed out with that ankle injury from training. Then we had Jack, and we've got Corey who went off during the game. Where can you update on those three?
Right, well, Ben went for a scan on Tuesday. It's the exact same injury site. So obviously, when you have an ankle injury, you have a bit of instability there, and that's what he's got. It's nowhere near as bad as the first time round. He's very sore. I think the plan is to just try and get it settled down as soon as we possibly can with ice and with any sort of manipulations that the physio department can do, and then start building him up again. So we think he's going to be a few weeks, which is nowhere near as bad as it could have been, certainly nowhere near as bad as it originally was. Jack Stretton looks like he's got maybe a couple of ligament strains to sort of grade 1 level, which again possibly could be a couple of weeks. We're just going to wait and see. He's come in today and it's got no more swelling, but it's probably a little bit more painful than it was on Wednesday. So we just got to assess that one. Corey, it's settling down. He's been able to do part of the training today. So hopefully that'll settle down again overnight and he'll be available for the weekend. So yeah, they're not great. They're all unavoidable, I'd have to say. Whereas with hamstrings, you can sort of retrace everything you've done and try and analyse and assess whether you could have done things differently. I really don't know what we could have done differently on these three, and I clipped the Ben's fall in training, and also Jack's looks like somebody shot him from the crowd at Barrow, and they're so innocuous. There's nobody there. There's nobody around them. They're not being knocked off balance, so they're not unprepared for it. It's just an unfortunate thing that we've got to deal with.
Toby, Chris, and Finn were getting closer. Is the good news there?
Yeah, Toby is continuing to train. Still too early for him this week, but we're going to continue to work with him in training. Maybe at some point, looking at the fixture schedule in November, we've got midweek games in all of the weeks. The first one, obviously, Harrogate. Then we've got the County Cup game, and I think I'm right in saying this, I haven't had confirmation. I think we've got the County Cup game on the 15th, a reserve game on the 22nd, and hopefully one on the 29th. So Toby will certainly be ready to play in those if he hasn't been involved with the first team before then. Also the plan for Joel Senior to come back in those games with a view that he's going to join the rest of the group after the Tranmere game and in training, and then build up hopefully to the 15th, maybe get 30 to 45 minutes. The next game on the 22nd, maybe get 45 to 60, and then hopefully push to try and get close to 90 as we possibly can in that third game. Finn and Christian Dennis, they've joined full training. They're back in with the rest of the group, so hopefully they get no reaction from that today and they're ready to be involved at the weekend.
It's exactly what you've been saying for weeks, isn't it? We take the steps forward, we seem to get another knock. You really are taking it in your stride.
I don't really have a choice, if I'm going to be honest. But I'd love to stamp my feet and spit my dummy out, but it ain't going to help anybody. No, it's what it is. We're on a really good run of results. Take Tuesday out of the equation, which it's not a case of brushing it under the carpet. Let's learn from it, but let's get back to winning ways this weekend in a fantastic game against Orient.
We saw you, I spoke to you earlier about this, we saw you and how you were not happy. You could see it in your face, your demeanour, everything. The lads were the same coming out of the dressing room. Is that a good thing in a way that they will look at that and think, not happening again?
Well, that's all you can do, isn't it? We can't actually change it now, so all we can do is make sure we do learn from it. And as I said, it's not a case of brushing it under the carpet. We've had a discussion around it this morning. We've had a discussion around what's got us into the league position we are, and it's now a case of what comes next. What do we do about it now? We can't change what's gone. We're certainly not going to get ourselves back into the Papa John's. We're out of that. So now the focus is on a brilliant week ahead with Orient, with Stockport, with Tranmere. Orient, who are one of the early pace setters in the season. Stockport, who are certainly one of the most fancied and biggest budgets in the league. Tranmere, who are one of the form teams. So we have a chance. Come the end of this month, we can be in a really good position, and that's the only thing we can focus on from now, and hopefully just like I went away and analysed what I did and worked out where I could have done things better, I fully expect the players, because they are good professionals, to have gone and done that as well. And let's see what we get this weekend.
Do you disappoint yourself, Paul, when you were really clear about the fact that you weren't happy with what you'd done in the lead up to the game? Do you disappoint yourself when that happens?
Yeah, you do, but the one thing I do, I make these decisions for the right reasons. I certainly don't do something because it makes my life easier, and I do what I think's the right thing for the group. And I said to them this morning, I'm quite sure I've made mistakes all season, but they're the ones who've gone and covered it up for me, and I don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, I made some mistakes, the players made some mistakes, and we didn't cover for each other. And we've got ourselves into the position we are because we've been really together. We've had a right good spirit. We've worked extremely hard, and we've got some ability in there. Now, on Tuesday, it didn't quite happen, and what we have to do is make sure we build on what we've done, and think about what it took to get a win away at Grimsby, what it took to get a win away at Hartlepool, what it took to come back from 3-1 down against Rochdale at home to get a draw out of it, what it took to go and have a really emphatic win against a team that, yes, are having problems now, but I think Doncaster are still going to be a good side. Remember what we did to get us into those areas, and do it again this weekend. And all good teams lose. I use the example Man City. I think Man City are a hell of a good side. They lost last weekend. If they're a good side, they'll react in the right way, and that's what we have to do. We've got to react in the right way this weekend by putting ourselves on the front foot against a good team.
One last thing on Tuesday, and you spoke particularly well about the incident with the firework. At any point during the talks with the referee and the police, was there a danger of that game being abandoned because of the lack of safety that they felt might be there?
Oh, that was definitely there. The referee said, I am not happy with the safety, and unless they can identify who it is who's thrown that firework and get him out, this game won't be going ahead. He made that quite clear, and I said, it's your call. I'm totally with you on it. It is one idiot who's done it, but I'm with you. The safety of our players, and Barra's to a lesser extent in my mind, but the safety of our players is the absolute number one importance. And if we have a risk of, that firework luckily bounced forward. If that would have bounced backwards towards Mick, I think he probably took 1.5 strides to go towards it. If it had bounced the other way, who knows what could have happened. And we hear all of the horror stories of bonfire night and the dangers of fireworks and all this sort of stuff. I really thought we'd got to a point in our country where we're a bit more intelligent than what we saw on Tuesday night. Obviously there's still work to be done on it, and thankfully the game was able to go ahead, even though it wasn't what we wanted.
Back to the football, you tend to get a feeling, you've said this before, about training and how the lads are. How have they responded to Tuesday night? How was today?
Yeah, they've been really good today, no problem at all. I asked them the question in the meeting this morning about what's got us here, what we've got to do to get back to it, and they were all very positive, and they all understand where we let ourselves down as a group on Tuesday night. So no, I have faith in these fellas. I have trust in them that they'll be able to go and respond in the right way. And Tuesday night, I said, it's about being professional now. Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday training, Friday training, and come out on Saturday absolutely flying and give our supporters something to smile about again.
And Orient, they've had that sticky run. I think it's 4 games now, and Tuesday night as well. They've lost in a horrible way late in the game. They might be that wounded animal who know things could be better.
Well, I'm quite sure there will be. After 9 league wins, I think it was, and a draw, and then suddenly they've hit a bit of a brick wall. I don't know the answer for it. We just have to be about us. We know that they're going to come and they're going to try and play football, which Richie Wellens wants to. He's a guy who I know played at Blackpool with him, and I've followed all his managing career. He's a footballing manager. They'll be well drilled. They've got good individual players, and what we have to make sure is that on Saturday evening we're talking about us having good individual players as well.
It's this thing you said about getting the marker down. Let's see this tough run of games. Let's see exactly where we are.
Well, we'll get a good indication, won't we? We'll be 16 games in at that point. and we're starting to tick them off. I think this is a really tricky time of the season now, October, November time. You have the early buzz that goes on of the excitement of a new season. You then get into a point where it's Monday to Friday and Saturday, Tuesday games come in, and they're all coming thick and fast. You have Christmas where there's the excitement of everything that goes on. These months are tough. This is where you have to roll your sleeves up. You've got to dig deep, and you've got to be able to sustain a run and a level of performance and level of consistency that keeps you involved in those top places.
One game unbeaten, that's something to cling on to, isn't it? Something to try and maintain for as long as possible.
Oh God, yeah, you've got to get back to it now. You know, we can now, they can now change the focus of saying we're unbeaten in all competitions. We now just need to make sure we get ourselves back unbeaten in league games, and that really is our focus now. We know the FA Cup draw, that's for a few weeks' time. This is now about making sure our level of performance is right in these coming 3 games, and then see where we are after that.
I know it's a quarter of the way in, and you keep saying about the league table, you've won nothing yet, but can you use that as an example to the lads and say, how good does that look? Let's maintain that.
That was what I did this morning. I put the league table up and said, look, it's where you are. So, you know, remember what you've done to get here. You know, maintain it, get the standards back, be professional about everything you do, demand it of each other and yourselves, and see where we go. And my final point was the new run starts now. Let's get it back to preferably winning ways, but certainly not losing ways. And let's see where we can be.
And the fans, final question, Paul, they've been brilliant. Wouldn't it be good to see another big number here on Saturday?
Well, I thought the number last weekend was absolutely magnificent. To get over 5,000 of our own supporters in, they had good support as well. I would imagine Orient will bring numbers because of the way that they're going, even though it's a hell of a trip. If we can be maintaining 5,000 plus of our own fans, it means we're doing things right. And again, it's the fans that are going to help to get us even better. The fans are going to be the ones who are going to help us build. You know, we're not going to be able to do it off our own back. We need them with us, and if we can get them coming out again, we have got to make sure that we have a performance that brings them back again for the next one.